Yes, I have a black eye. It is from domestic violence. My wife threatened me that I had to put a bunch of crap away or else I might have to find someplace else to live. She didn't say, just or else. So, in putting this crap away, one of the things fell and hit me above the eye, and now I have a black eye. Domestic violence. I wanted to tell you about a course that I took in 1992, and it was called 6 Day. And it was a 6 day residential program in Santa Rosa, California, kind of remote. They needed a lot of space because they needed some dorms for about 100 participants and maybe about 20 people coming to assist. And then they had a ropes course, so they needed some room. And how it came to be that I took this course was that this course and the previous one were offered by Werner Erhard and Associates. Used to be called EST, and nowadays is called the Landmark Forum, although Landmark Education I don't think has any connection anymore to Werner Erhard. Well, so when I came home from the Landmark Forum, my second wife said, you know, before you went to that thing, you had a stone face on for years. You don't have it on now, so whatever that was, go get some more of it. And so the next thing they offered was this 6 day course. So let's see. Every morning there was a mile-long run. And, well, first there would be exercises. And it was pretty interesting to notice that it seemed like the body was releasing toxins as you did all these stretching things. And then you'd start the run, and they would have you run down a ways, and then you had to run up this hill. And we called it Vomit Hill because a lot of people were lined up along the side of this road throwing up. So you'd do your mile run. Then we'd be in class. And some people might differ on what the heck the course was about. But for me, what the course was about was, where do you quit in life? So one night, they were looking at, so do you quit around your shame issues involving sex? So they handed out to everybody 6 small pieces of paper. And on these pieces of paper, you were to write down 6 things about sex you didn't want anybody to know. So then he collected all these pieces of paper, and he'd pull one out of the hat. And he'd say, okay, everybody in this room who's had sex with a sibling, stand up. So, 3 or 4 people out of 100 stand up. Pretty weird. And then, I don't know, let's say all of you who have masturbated with a carrot, stand up. And, a few more people are willing to fess up at this point. So we'll say maybe 8 people stood up. So then he says, you know what? It's going to be a pretty lengthy process if I go through this bunch of slips here, taking a look at all the different things that you've masturbated with. So let's speed this up. So everybody here who has ever masturbated with a vegetable of any kind or fruit of any kind, stand up. So there's laughter. 15 people stand up. Okay, he says now everybody who has masturbated with a piece of meat, raw or cooked, stand up. More people stand up. There's laughter. Oh, good. Okay, he says now dairy products. Those who have masturbated with any form of dairy product, stand up. And we all do. Yeah, not me, but everybody does. So then he says, "Am I leaving anything out?" And somebody would yell, "What about pastries?" Very good, thank you. Everybody who's masturbated with a pastry or bread product of any kind, stand up. So they stand up. So we covered that area, and I can't remember. There were things like everybody who's ever been molested by an older person, stand up. Now, I had a friend, she wasn't in that particular class, but she went later, and she said that she, in her growing up years, had been sexually abused, emotionally abused, physically abused. And that I think once, like in the 5th grade, a teacher gave her a lovely bar of fragrant soap as a gift. Well, of course, my friend, nobody else got one of these, so my friend took it as that the teacher thought she was dirty. And this lady kind of felt dirty from all of these abuses, all of her growing up years. And so now here she is in her early 30s. She does this course, and she came home and reported that she felt clean for the first time by shedding the shames of all of these things. Okay, so that was one of the things that we did. Another thing we did in this course was they said, do you stop yourself regarding anger? So they had these large massage tables that were covered with foam, and then they had these giant Nerf bats, and we were to take these Nerf bats and just beat the hell out of these tables one at a time. So now, while somebody is beating the table, 2 of the assistants are standing there yelling in their face to just give it everything they got, be totally mad. There's 4 tables going on, maybe 6 tables going on at a time. And then the rest of us are lined up waiting our turn. So other assistants are moving up and down the line, having us get in touch with what we're really furious about. And I guess for me, it was that I think it was Mike McFadden was my age, and his brother Marty. They were both state level wrestlers. And he pulled my PE shorts down once in front of the girls' PE class. It was very embarrassing. And another time, he slugged me in the gut just because he had an exuberance of energy, and I'm standing there like a dope waiting for the gym teacher to come along and sniff us all to see if we'd washed our uniforms over the weekend. Well, so I'm really angry about that Mike McFadden, or Marty. Hell, I don't even remember. I think maybe Marty was my age, had done these things to me. I was mad about it. So I get up there and I pound the hell out of the table, and then they let me move on. And so then you're supposed to sit and cool off, and I'm listening to people, screaming about rapes and men being raped, and boy, it was loud, and there was a lot of screaming in the room. And I thought, wow, the furies of hell are being released in this room, being chased out of our lives. Real redemption is going on. And I just was totally full of energy. So at the end of this, when the instructor asked, everybody's now cooled off and sitting in their chairs in the classroom, the instructor asks, what'd you get from this exercise? And I raised my hand vigorously. And what I got from this exercise was that I now have the freedom to be an asshole. And prior to this point, I didn't. I had only had the freedom to be, I had no freedom. I was enslaved to the requirement to be a nice person. So that when somebody did something that required me to assert myself, I really disliked them because I wanted to just be this nonstop nice person. And to actually have to say, stop doing that, don't do that, no, you can't come in my house, These were all ways of being not nice, which would cause me to dislike whoever was making me do this. And when I got home from this course, before I went to the course, I knew that my life was going to be quite different when I got back. And so I asked another attorney in town to take over my contract with the county to defend indigent defendants. And he was happy to have it. That's like $24,000 a year for not much work. And so when I got back, he said, well, would you take this Wednesday's arraignments for me one last time? Sure. So I go, and there's this lady that the police report says that she had showed up at the counter of Mid-Columbia Mental Health and said, I'm having an episode, a bipolar episode, and I need to be admitted. Well, we can't admit you without the doctor's signature, and he's not here. Well, yeah, fine, but I have to be admitted. So after going back and forth with this lady several times, you can imagine that the lady at the desk kind of thinks she needs some police reinforcement. Policeman shows up, takes this lady by the arm, walks her across the street, sets her on the sidewalk, and says, now, if you step off that sidewalk in the direction of Mid-Columbia Mental Health, I'm going to arrest you for trespass. She did, he did. There the two of us are on a Wednesday afternoon. And I said, you know, if I go in there and tell the judge that you will stay out of trouble for 6 months, then in 6 months they'll review this and dismiss it. Is that agreeable? She said, no, I can't promise to not have any trouble in the next 6 months. I have a mental illness. And I said, you know, that's bullshit, because there's no higher incidence of criminal behavior among the mentally ill than among the general population. And she says, oh, I just think that's so cool that you know that. And I said, you know, I'll tell you something. So I want you to get that after this thing about niceness, prior to the course, if she'd have given me any guff about, well, I can't do that because I'm mentally ill, I just would have said, fine, lady, go to trial, suffer the consequences. Dumb shit. But instead, I said, you know, I have a bet that I will make you, and that is that in any given situation, you know better than the other person about anything. You know better. You knew better than the clerk at the desk, even though she told you the rules, but you knew better. And then the cop takes you across the street, treats you very fairly, but you knew better than the cop. And I said, I bet you even know better than your doctor, and you're not taking your meds. And she says, well, yes, I am on an alternative treatment modality. This buddy of mine who was bipolar said, oh God, yes, we all try alternative treatment modalities till we give up, take the meds. And I said, so, if you thought that for 6 months, every time you're face to face with somebody about which one of you is right, if you would step outside on the porch where it's cold, cool down, count to 10, then decide, is it worth going to jail to be right about this? If you just do that, then you could stay out of trouble. Yeah, I could. So we went in, and the judge and the prosecutor were agreeable. Stay out of trouble for 6 months, and we'll dismiss it. And when she gets up to leave, she socks me in the shoulder, and she says, thank you very much. I got to tell you, folks, I would not have handled that way back when I was a slave to niceness. It's very good to be liberated from niceness.